thank you for subscribing to this YouTube page. We really need your help here on a few things. I know a lot of you have been really wanting to know what's going on with this, and we've been very quiet about it. And because we really didn't know. It's not like every day you have to figure out and chase down who and why your son is dead. Okay, so let's start with a little bit about Timmy. Timmy, you know, as what you've read in the papers is not true. None of that. Not any of that the papers were. In fact, it should be against the law for them to write stories and put them in papers and news, and if they don't have facts, because none of what they wrote was a fact. And anybody who's read them stories, they all know that this isn't Timmy. Yeah, Timmy, you know, everybody who went to school with him, grew up with him, hung out with him through his early adulthood, you know that's not him. And, you know, yeah, he worked for Amazon, and Amazon had just relocated. He'd been working for Amazon for, oh God, 5 years now, and he's been moving up the chain over there. He's in management. In fact, Amazon just moved him from Modesto here to Colorado. They paid for him to move there. He'd only been there a month. He left here at the end of July. And him and I were FaceTimed each other all back and forth through August. And, well, it's not, you know. So, and he was doing really well, you know. So, but the thing here is we do know that on September the 4th, at 9 o'clock in the morning, the Westminster PD did get a phone call. They did get a dispatch call from 911 of a man being up on top of a vehicle. Okay, so when the paramedics and the PD show up there to the scene, they find Timmy up on top of a resident their vehicle, and he's freaking out. He's scared. He's freaking out. And they talk to him, and they say, and he tells them that he'd been up all day. He'd been up for 3 days, and that he'd been on cocaine for 3 days, and that he was hallucinating, and that a pack of wild German Shepherd puppies had chased him up on there. They got him down off of the vehicle. I guess they assessed him or not. I just found out that he was inside the ambulance, actually, but then they let him go. And all that day, they let him go and sent him home. And all that day, this kid hallucinating, seeing things that weren't there. And we know this from people who've told us this stuff. And so anyway, around 12 o'clock, I believe, after hallucinating all day long, there's a trail that runs between the Environ apartments and across the street from where Timmy lived, and all the way down there, and it goes to that Rocky Mountain Elementary School. There's a trail. It's a concrete trail. I've walked that trail through Google, and then there's some apartment townhouses over here on the left. Well, apparently Timmy, from what Kristen says, she was talking to Timmy, and he was on that trail, and the trail, you know, just, he was freaking out. He's freaking out. He's talking to her, and he's telling her, "There's people following me." And she's talking to him, and she's telling him it's okay, just go home. And he says, "No, this is worse. These people are going to get me." And then the next thing we know, she knows that, you know, the police are calling her. So in that time that Timmy was freaking out, when the phone call ended, she'd been trying to call the phone and couldn't get it. But Tim apparently was running and banging on doors, thinking somebody was trying to help him. He banged on a few doors. He actually broke in a few doors, and then he went in upstairs to a place, and he broke into that door. He came face to face with a resident there, a young man, probably around the age of 19, I guess, from what we understand. And that young man Timmy told him, "Help me, somebody's trying to kill me." Well, of course, you know, you have somebody breaking in your house, and, you know, and you're freaked out. So the kid ran and locked himself in the bedroom, called the police. So Tim apparently had to, there's no help there, so he started walking out the door, and we know this from people who've said this, that he started walking down the steps of this apartment complex. This is upstairs, the second floor. The police showed up there. They'd already been there. They just opened up fire and shot at him. And we have, you know, from the crime scene photos or the scene photos, you can clearly see that as soon as he started down them stairs, they started shooting at him. And he ended up out into a parking lot. I don't know. But then you read the story in the paper, and the paper saying the knife-wielding man inside of an apartment, the cops went in, you know, he hidden in the room, and then he jumps out with a knife, and they shot him. You know, which, that's, I don't know where they got that story. I don't know where they got that story, but apparently the police leaked it to them, and apparently the police haven't tried to justify this story or not. So we have to find out our own facts. And so my thing is if this happened at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, there are people there that saw it. There are people there that heard it. We need your help. We can't do this without your help. We need your help. We need somebody who actually saw this, if you want to remain anonymous, to come forward and help us. And so we've set up this YouTube page to get this word out there that we need your help. Because Timmy, he was not the type of man that would grab a knife and run after cops. He's not the type of person that would burglarize houses. The guy made between $60,000 and $70,000 a year. He works for Amazon. You know, he works 4 days a week, 12 hours plus a day. And so on his day off, he's not going to run around pulling burglaries, and he's not going to be running around. If he was going to do burglaries, he wouldn't be running around with no shoes on, a pair of shorts, and a t-shirt. The kid was just scared. He was hallucinating. If they had only did their job at 9 o'clock that morning, nobody would have been in, none of this probe would have happened. So we want to thank you for coming to this thing here, and you can subscribe to this page and pass it on to people that you know. And if you want to come forward and say anything or do anything, just contact us through this page. Thank you for your time.